Hey guys, as always, thanks for stopping by. Got a fast one for you. Should you stand your ground? Let's talk about that. In this one, I'm going to tell you about a bill that just got introduced in Arkansas, why it matters for all of us. Got some questions for y'all, a little bit of an update, and then at the end, there's part of this bill that I don't like. It kind of ruins the whole thing for me, and it might for you as well. Buckle up, let's go. It's already late on Saturday night. I'm getting this thing cranked out no matter what happens in one take. To all of y'all, thank you for every thumbs up, crushing those thumbs up. Thank y'all for all the new subscribers that signed on this week. Had a tough week in some ways and a lot of fun this week in other ways. So thank each of y'all. Shazam. Stand your ground. A lot of states require or have the ability or the right to stand your ground, castle doctrine. But here's the funny thing is every state's a little bit different. Here's a graphic overlay showing you how every state and each color represents a different type of law. Most of the ones in the South and Southeast are stand your ground states, including mine here in Tennessee, but you can see Arkansas is a little bit different. Arkansas has what's called a requirement to retreat. Now, the Republicans in the state of Arkansas have banded together in the Senate, the state Senate, and they have introduced a new bill to remove that requirement to retreat out of the state law and substitute in or move in what's called a stand your ground doctrine. So that's going on. It's interesting. But there's a couple things in this that I just don't like. The overall idea is kind of interesting to me. I like the idea of standing your ground, but I don't like the idea of the government allowing me to stand my ground. I have this idea that the Second Amendment should stand on its own. That the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Yet we have rules that work in one place, even here. I'm allowed to concealed carry, I have a permit. And then yet when I go across the street to a gun-free zone at a school, my rights are over. I don't like that, the compartmentalization of rules. I also don't like the whole idea of hypotheticals. You get on Reddit and guys in the CCW subreddit, they'll get all detailed. They're like, imagine if you're eating chili with your family and a guy with a blunderbuss and an eye patch and comes in with a blunderbuss and a sword, and yet all you have is a modern warfare gun. What happens? And they get through like really, really silly hypothetical situations. What's the rules in this one? What's the rules in this one? And what's the rules in this one? Now that's silly and that's on Reddit, but I think that the government does the same thing with us. Shall you stand your ground? The idea of castle doctrine only applies to your castle. So in like Florida, I believe in Florida, again, Florida people, let me know if I'm wrong, but you do have castle doctrine in Florida. Stand your ground inside your own domicile. But if you take your kids to the movies and something lights off inside the movie theater, you have different rules. I don't like that at all. So compartmentalization, not a fan. Hypotheticals, not a fan. Crazy idea that to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Now, I think this matters. 36 states right now do have stand your ground doctrine, and we do know that states kind of domino sometimes. States says right now we're having the wacky weed slowly working its way state by state. First it goes medical, then it goes to all sorts of nonsense, and then you have all sorts of more nonsense. And I think, and I don't have a problem with the wacky weed. I have a problem with politicians. That's my point. Don't start banging away, you stoners. Now, Arkansas, they are working on this. Two things I don't like. One is the main dudes that talked about or set up this, and I didn't write their names down, but the main senators, they gave a shout out to the NRA. Not a fan of that at all. Like, not a fan. What does that have to do with anything? Who cares what the NRA thinks? But they stood in front of a microphone the other day and said, we want to thank you for the NRA for your support. Yeah. So they've already lost credibility with me. But in this bill, and here's where we get to the point where the whole thing I just don't like, there is an exemption from this. Okay, all of you folks in Arkansas, I know you can't read, but we're going to tell you verbally because of that. I'm kidding. Stop it. Y'all now can stand your ground if this goes through, unless that firearm was acquired illegally. And I don't like that. Now, I'm not talking about actual criminals. I don't like that because on some level, they're going to find some granny who borrowed the gun from their son or their grandson, and he's got a DUI or he's got a felony or some silly reason, and the intent was the person, that granny, somebody, I don't like hypotheticals, but I'm giving you a hypothetical. I don't want to see that granny go down and not have her rights because of some dumb, whether a gun was legal or not. I'm not talking about stolen guns. I'm talking about all those little nuances that the ATF, that they do to make sure that one person has one gun and that's an illegal gun. I just don't like it. You end up with this on the back of yours, a brace, and suddenly, yeah, somebody who's the intent is legal. They, like me, I did a 4473 on this one, but suddenly maybe a year from now that gun is illegal. Not a fan of that. So stand your ground. That's what's going on in Arkansas. I think it has implications for all of our states. Again, the domino thing. I don't like hypotheticals. I don't like compartmentalization, and I do like the Second Amendment being wide open for everybody. What do you think? Let me know. Now, to anyone that is against us or our abilities to protect ourselves in any way that we see fit, or to make a bad decision to make a video a little bit late on a Saturday night when I'm supposed to be relaxing, but I couldn't take a day off because I was reading about this. I got excited, very excited. To anyone that's against us or our rights to protect ourselves, regardless of whether we're in our domicile, standing our ground, retreating responsibly, regardless, I want to keep in bare arms. So to all those folks, from my cold, dead hands. Happy weekend, y'all. Bye.